Okay, let's just anchor then.
Last week, Dan and I sailed to Lizard Island, which is on the Great Barrier Reef on the east coast of Australia and Queensland. And this week we are leaving to continue to head further north up towards the Torres Strait. Today's the day we're leaving. Yesterday we were gonna go, but it was just squally and horrible, and it was so windy all night that I have 2 loose shrouds and they were rattling and the dinghy was blowing around. Even though we strapped it down, it was scooching around on deck. It was a horrible night of sleep. But today it's nice and sunny. Dan's gone kiting. I still have my ear infection, so I can't go in the water. I did do a little kite session the other day, but decided it wasn't worth it. So I'm at home. I thought about going ashore, but then I was like, nah, I'm just gonna get jealous of kiting. So I putzed around the boat, did some cleaning, just had a little bit of a zen moment, me and Gek, and now I'm preparing some food. Dan's gonna prepare some food for the passage, but I'm also preparing some food. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be 25, gusting 35, big seas, lots of reef to navigate around. We're still in the Great Barrier, but with this much wind, it just kicks right up. I don't know if it's ever gonna not be windy in here, so we're not gonna get the tranquil Great Barrier experience some people get. But I'm making, this is a dish my mom made a lot when we were at sea. So basically I'm just slicing potato wedges thin, and then I have some onion and then whole cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to put all of this into this baking tray, cover it with olive oil and salt, and then we'll just stick it in the oven and bake it, and then we'll probably put it in when we leave, and it'll be ready in about an hour and a half after we're underway, so that when we're hungry and we just want like a nice hearty, starchy, at sea, you're feeling a bit queasy meal, this is the one. Dan's gonna make a big curry when he gets back from kiting, so because I don't have a fridge, we can't pre-make too many meals in advance, but we can sort of do the next 12 hours to 20 hours of meals before stuff starts to go bad, so it's always like a last minute thing. I'm not really looking forward to this passage, if I'm being completely honest. We've already put it off 2 days now. 1, because the kiting is so good here, and 2, because it's so hard to leave when it's blowing this much. It's just gonna be a lot, but anyway, we gotta keep going. Gotta make it to Darwin. So yeah, I just did a bit of cleaning, sending Holly and Gecko time on the boat, and Dan's gonna be back soon, so yeah, excited for that too. Okay, we have salt, pepper, rosemary, sage, olive oil, and I'm just stirring it all up. Then I'm gonna cover this with tin foil so that it kind of steams on itself in the oven. Look at those whole cloves of garlic. Man, I love garlic. And that's gonna be our little passage treat.
I'm going to start taking the sail covers off and putting the sails on whilst Holly does the very, very important passage prep.
Oh yes.
Cookies!
Here's all the cookies.
Recipe link in bio.
So we just had another squall pass over us. There it goes. Makes it really hard to leave.
Mad squalls.
Yes, and a lot of wind. So we're putting up the storm jib, and we're gonna try the triple reef in the main to start with the storm jib, because it feels really windy. It's a bit intimidating to go out into, and then if that's not enough sail, we'll go to the double reef. But it's nice to start small and work your way up versus starting big and having something go wrong. It's about 83 miles to Flinders Island. The first 25 are gonna be pretty full on, and then we get a bit more protection from the reef and hopefully from the wind as well. So probably, yeah, that's the first 3 hours. No, can't do math. 5 hours. So around 10 or 11 at night, things should start to calm down a bit, and then maybe we can shake more reefs out of the main. Maybe not, who knows. Anyway, it's a really hard place to leave because it's beautiful and kitey and protected, and it's so nasty out there, but leave we must. Dan's ready.
Super ready. Well, I'm first nap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a little incident and discovered that Dan's speaker floats, and now we're just cooking it on the stove.
It's actually probably a bad idea, hey?
I mean, I thought it was a good idea when you did it, but...
Why don't you just steam it a little bit?
Dry it out?
Will it?
Or
will it just get it all hot?
I don't know.
It will dry out, I just don't think we turn it on for a couple of days.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sorry, buddy.
I think it'll be fine.
Dan sacrificed his warm, dry outfit to get the speaker. I couldn't see my ear infection. Oh, the reef line flicked it into the water.
Still played music when it it out of the water.
It did. So, and then we gave it a freshwater rinse because it was already wet, and saltwater doesn't like electronics. Electronics don't like saltwater. Anyway, procrastinating.
Big sails, big moments. Heading out into the big seas and the big winds. Squalls in every direction. The sun lights up a container ship in the distance. Holly runs back and forth, preparing.
A little further away from these reefs.
What were you just saying?
Oh, so normally I'm excited to put up the sails, but I'm just kind of nervous right now. There's so much wind.
I'm hoping it's just accelerating through. I feel like I was kiting in probably 30 knots, which we can do, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we can do 30. 30, 30.
30, 30.
We're off. It's not so bad. We've just stormed jib up, and we're going 4 to 4.5 knots.
Yeah, we're flying.
Which is actually pretty fine.
The boat is sea stowing itself. Past many ships in the night here in Australia. In the day too, I guess. Fucking rolly ass. Not fucking rolly ass. The chef is back in the kitchen. It's
potatoes are ready.
Potatoes are ready. Let's see how we do. Bloody rolly. That is. Luncheon.
Look at this thing. How many would you like? Tell me one.
How many spoons would I like?
Yeah.
3 spoons, please.
How many potatoes? Okay. For you?
I could help, but it's more fun to watch. Delicious.
Alright, just gonna add a bit of salt to the meal.
You can move the potatoes to the other side. Sounds
Over you. While dinner's over, we have switched into watches. So the last sail we did 2 hours on, 2 off, and that didn't feel like enough time off. We both felt like we could have a bit more time on. I think when we're on big ocean passages, we'll do more like 6 on, 6 off. But for sailing in the reef, it's pretty full on. You have to pay a lot of attention. There's a lot of reef and rocks and ships, so we didn't want to be too much time sort of on, whereas at sea you can take 40-minute naps on your watch if you want to. So we're trying 3-hour watches this time just to see how it feels. I think we'll like it better. So I'm on from 5 to 8, and then Dan's on 8 to 11, and then thusly throughout the night. It was really hard leaving this time because it's just so windy. But it doesn't come with those huge ocean waves that this much wind normally comes with, although it's pretty shallow here, so the waves are a bit short and steep. And it just makes everything more intense because there's so much reef and there's so much ship traffic. It's just blowing 30 for weeks, so there's nothing we can do about it. But I feel like this would be a really pleasant, relaxing passage, like series of passages, if it was just less wind. I think it would be really calm and beautiful, and we could stop in at the reefs, but that's just the little gremlin side of me, the grass is greener side of me, because there could also be no wind, and the passages can take twice as long, so. morning. Sun is rising, it's really beautiful. I'm still asleep. Nice to see the coastline. I keep thinking about how beautiful it must be. You know, in the dark it's all illuminated by the full moon and the water is glistening with the moonlight, but by light of day you can see the mountain ranges and the beaches, and it's just a gorgeous coastline, so I'm happy to be able to see it all illuminated. It's so cool to be able to see the shoreline of Australia now, and as the sun is rising and I look like a nun at the moment, I'm wearing 2 hoods, it's very cold. I'm just sitting in the cockpit thinking about how lucky I am to be able to see this part of Australia, and thinking about how few people actually get to see this part of it, because you can only get here by boat and there's no towns, and yeah, I don't know, it's like windswept and beautiful and rugged and completely remote. No one lives out here. It's all national park. There's no roads to it even. I don't even know how you would get here by land. And it's just these piles of boulders forming hills with scrub in between, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it you know, sometimes I have moments where I question sailing and why I do it, because it's not always easy, but then it's moments like this morning, this magical feeling. These are the feelings that I'm chasing. I think these are the feelings I got as a kid sometimes that drew me to pursue sailing. It's magic places I used to think of as a kid, but I think it's more of a feeling, like when you're somewhere like this that's just rugged and windswept and feels like it's yours, and that just feels really special. It's cool. Australia is quite a beautiful country. We're coming into the gap. Into the gap. The waves might be more chill, but they're not.
If anything, they're bigger. Look at that one. Look at all the surf, these.
Lots of beaches though. Yeah. Or should we take it in maybe?
Yeah, maybe. That's the sun directly behind your face, look. Into the depths.
We're slowly getting closer to our anchorage. It's still very windy and would be horrible anchoring, but we're about to go around a point, so hopefully everything flattens out. I did forget to download the satellite charts for this anchorage, and it makes me realize how much I've come to rely on them. It's a bit terrifying knowing that there's reef and not being able to see it on the sat charts, but it also makes me respect everyone who does it without sat charts for all the years that people sailed before they existed. So I know it's possible. It's just such a nice crutch to have and such a comforting thing. It's very wild and windswept and lonely here. I'm trying to compare it to something I know, but it's just, I think it's partially also just how windy it is, but it feels like we're the only people on the planet. Alright, we've just taken the sail down and turned on the motor. It's really hard to see through the water because it's not very clear, but I can see some dark patches that I'm assuming are reef. So it just feels better to have the engine on. Plus we're almost in, and it's pretty gusty, so we're not really always able to make our course. Depth is dropping. It's going to be another nice travel anchorage. It's very choppy here. There's these very mysterious fires. Hoping that it wouldn't be as windy here, but it seems like it's still pretty gusty. So windy. I just want to get out of the wind. But anyway, this is eventually aiming to get into here where two other people have dropped their anchors. Looks like someone's anchored over there.
What are we saying?
We are moving on from this anchorage. It's just, I think if there wasn't so much wind, we could anchor further out and it would be fine, but we'd have to anchor out here and it just feels really exposed and it's really rocky. The depth is just, I think it's a rocky bowl. If you look at the depth, it's just slowly increasing when you go out and decreasing when you go in. So I feel like it's rocky and not good holding. And it just,
good circles?
we did some really scary circles. This is where we almost went aground there, and there. Like very suddenly. And in 12 feet of water, you still can't see the bottom. So I think there's probably a reason why everyone else anchors on the other side.
It also looks like the whole place is about to burn down. There's 3 or 4 different fires going on there. I don't know what's caused them or why they're happening. It's also windy, which is not a good combination. Fire, wind and sun.
So this anchorage would be a really great one. It's got beach, it's sandy, it's a nice easy bottom, and there's some hikes, but we don't want to anchor downwind of a wildfire. As Dan pointed out, we don't know what's going to happen to it, plus it's just being downwind of smoke, which I love the smell of campfire, but I don't know, this is a little bit of a hardcore look. I mean, the smoke's going as high as that mountain.
Yeah, it starts to come.
On to the next. Yeah. Getting on the scales. Getting on the new high field.
Beautiful.
We'll grab it.
Self-steering geck.
It's doing pretty well.
It's doing super well. No wind vane. Don't know why you fuck with the wind vane all the time. Mess with.
So we are here at our next anchorage. We actually went to the next island over from Flinders because we wanted to be not downwind of the smoke, and it's a beautiful anchorage except the small problem. There's a very small fire here when we first arrived, but now...
Well, it wasn't even here when we stopped, was it?
Yeah.
It only started sort of after we stopped.
Now it's a lot of fire and directly upwind of us.
But it smells so good.
It does smell really good. I kind of don't mind, as long as it doesn't start dropping.
You wanted to go to the beach.
Burning embers onto the boat. I don't want to go to the beach anymore. Do you think crocodiles don't like smoke, just like mosquitoes?
Yeah, they're smoked out for sure.
Very windy. So, we have spent one night in the Flinders Island group.
More or okay?
It's okay.
Yeah, can't bother to do more either.
Yeah. And we're getting ready to go again. So we got in yesterday at around noon and decided that there's not much to do here, so we're just gonna push and carry on until we get to a place where we do want to spend time. So I'm just looking at our route right now. So the island we ended up staying in was not Flinders, but in fact Stanley, which is the next one over. So this is the group. So just in the context of Greater Australia, we are now here, working our way up to the Horn. So we came in yesterday, first tried to anchor in here, and that was where it was just horrible. And then this was where we wanted to go, but there were all those fires, so then we ended up sailing around through the Owen Channel and anchored in Stokes Bay last night, and it was just, you know, classically more wind. So today we're sailing 110 miles north up to Restoration Island, which is the island where this guy lives by himself with his wild dingoes. And this sail, so there were kind of two options that Dan and I talked about, the inner and the outer. The inner option is 10 miles longer, more protected by the reef. You get a lot of reef, so probably not a ton of fetch, but not a straightforward sail at all. There's all these shoals and rocks, and basically we would just be zigzagging around all of this all night long. which doesn't really sound fun. The outer option, 10 miles shorter, but we're only protected by the outer reef, and of course it's blowing 25 to 30, so it's going to be way wavier, and then we have whole sections where there's gaps in the reef that are probably going to be kind of sketchy. But we decided on that one because it has a clear channel, and it's just a bit more straightforward since we'll be sailing overnight. Pretty much the only part that I'm worried about is this pass that we have to go past, and I mean, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about this passage, but all of these passages, it's just so intense with the wind and the waves. Not a huge fan. Anyway, restoration is up here, and then from there we're just very close to the top. So it's another blustery day. I have prepared our 2 little beds while Dan's been lashing down the dinghy, and we're just going to use the storm jib again because with the current it's just so nice. We go fast and we don't have to think about too much sail, and we're using the small wind vane paddle for the wind vane. Got thermos of tea going, and that's pretty much it. It's 12:15 now. We've been averaging 5 knots, so I'm assuming we'll do the same, so we'll get in around noon tomorrow. And yeah, it's just gonna be another one of those suck it up passages.
It's super windy right now.
It's super windy.
Probably windier than when we got here, which is a bummer because this was protected when we got here.
Yeah, this was really nice and flat, and now it's a bit
ready.
rolly.
It's coming. We should do wind tests by letting our hair down.
See how tangled it gets.
Farming, I just pulled the snubber up.
Oh yeah.
It's okay now. I guess it's dusty off the island, I guess. Tis a tidbit windy. Woo! It's a great time to leave. Look at that boat spin. That's doing a get spin. We're doing a solid spin too. Does the wind microphone thing hide how windy it is? We've got ourselves some.
My favorite treat, Mandarin segments.
Can you see an individual segment, please?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
These are nice when you start tornado freshies. We poured the juice off into a liter of water.
Orange juice, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty much orange. See, nothing but oranges, and it's a fact. Alright. Well, we are underway, going 3.5 knots, but we're just still in the lee of the island.
Not as strong as the gusts in there too, right?
Yeah. No, it's gonna pick up. So basically we're curling around this island to head out to the reef. I think this is gonna be a bit more of a jostly passage, so we've secured more stuff this time around. And yeah, it's already windy as promised. Just the storm sail up again, because why put up more sail when you don't have to? And yeah, maybe next anchorage we get to, there'll be less wind. That's what we say every time.
Anchorage.
Every anchorage. But I did check the forecast and it says that there's not less wind, so.
We lost our drogue in the last big swell, so we've decided to tie down the life raft. 50-50.
Buongiorno. I have a really important question that I want to ask you guys. I really want to crowdsource this. I, in an incredibly bad stroke of luck, lost 60 gigabytes of data, which included all the footage that I have of sailing Gecko through the Torres Strait, which I am devastated about because the Torres Strait, it's like world-renowned for being insane, and we had such a fun time getting through there. It was so easy, beautiful, cool. I filmed so much. And I was able to get really tiny bits and pieces of poor quality footage back from the SD card that basically was corrupted. So it's like 4-second clips of things. So my question to you is, I still want to tell the story, but what do you guys think? What would you like to see? Like, what format would you like to see for that storytelling? How much of the bad footage, how much of an explanation? I would love to hear your input on this and what you want to watch, because I want to create something that you want to see. It's going to be a lot of work putting it together because all the footage came back to me completely muddled and disorganized. Nothing is dated. So everything it's going to be a big project, but I want to put the time in and do it right for you guys. So let me know in the comments your thoughts and suggestions on how to do it, because I'm starting to think about it and it's just a giant project. So yeah, please let me know what to do. How do I tell the story? Yeah, honestly, like, what luck. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. It was really fun doing this edit, actually. Looking at that footage of the wildfires in Flinders Island, it gives me the feeling, I don't know if I'm getting this feeling because I was there and I'm remembering it, or if you guys are getting the same feeling of like how wild and remote it felt, because there was just nothing. No cell, no Wi-Fi, no data, no connection to the outside world, no other people. That one boat did anchor up next to us the next morning, but then we left. So anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this edit. I had a really fun time editing it. Thank you for watching my videos. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on YouTube, and for my patrons, you guys get a snack on the weeks I don't put out full-length YouTube video. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.com/windhippie, and for one-time donations, I have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie. Thank you for everyone who donates to me and helps support me. You are my whole income for this trip. I'm now halfway around the world, editing this from Indonesia. What is up? What else? Thank you for your comments. Thank you for these particular comments. I will read them all avidly. And thank you, Tish, for helping me just remember when I need to do another edit and helping me schedule them online and being my manager of sorts. You're amazing. And what else do I usually say? I think that's it. Oh yeah, I have merchandise if you want to buy shirts and things, little things. That's all. I look forward to reading your comments and seeing what I come up with out of this mess of footage that was supposed to be an epic Torres Strait film. So, patrons, I'll see you guys next week with a snack, and YouTube people, I'll see you in 2 weeks with another full-length episode.